How many of you come here to find out what Nest.js is? Okay, that's good. How many of you is here to learn something new? Okay, also a few people. That's great. And you? What are you doing here if you don't want to learn something new? Just kidding. Okay, that's great. Welcome to the JS Church. And thank you for being here. It's Tuesday, it's warm outside, it's October. There are always some excuses to not come. But if you are here, it means you are special. You understand that the world now is changing than ever before. And we have to learn every time. In this case, we learn something new about Nest.js. We learned today what is this, who is created and why. Because in the JS community every day we have a new framework, yeah? If it's no new framework, someday is something wrong in the universe. So, yeah. We learn about why we should use it, why it's good or not good. We learn the pros and cons of this framework. And what can we do with it? Yeah. So let's begin. My name is Dariusz Kalbarczyk. I'm from Warsaw, Poland. I am in this business, in the development business, about 20 years. I was a .NET developer before. Since 7 years, I switched to front-end. I'm a big fan of Angular. I wrote a book about Angular. I create several courses. I wrote this book. This is my new book. It's come in a few days on the market. It is about the developer interview. So far it's in Polish, but we think about the German and English version also. So, and I run 2 conferences in Poland, NG Poland and JS Poland. They take place in November every year. So that's all about me. Back to the meat and potatoes, the Nest. How you can start with Nest. So, how many of you use Nest every day? You use. Okay, that's great. That's great. But we are here to learn what is this, how to start with it. So this is the main site, the nest.js.com. You can go there and it's some documentation and you can start to play with this, I think, great framework. By the way, I'm pretty new in this technology, but I find out that it's great for my next project. So I want to share this experience with you. This is the father of this project, is Kamil Myśliwiec. He's from Poland also. And he is one of the most busiest people I know. And in the same time, he is modest and love open source. Because, meine lieben Damen und Herren, this is open source project. So, what is Nest.js? And why we should care about this new framework, new JS framework, new backend JS framework. We can use Express, for example, and it's fine here for creating backend using Node.js. But Nest.js provide a lot of ready-to-use features and force us to use a clean and clear code. I show you later. So you can use it to build some scalable, a big Node.js backend-based app. Okay? We can use Node.js to create MVC apps, REST of or GraphQL apps. By the way, I have few t-shirts today, and because you used the Nest.js, I give you first. Okay, so before we go any further, let's have some fun, because what I'm doing here, what I'm trying to do here is something like accelerated learning. It means you are the most important people here, not I, not the presentation. You can find all this information in the internet. But you are here, and we can use this time to force you to learn something. And yeah, that's it. Everybody stand up. Stand up. Yeah? Yeah, I know it's morning. I know it's morning. Yeah, but you have to remember that everything in the universe, everything is energy. Without energy, we are nothing. So if I say Nest, you say JS, okay? But with a power. Nest? JS. Nest? JS. Yeah, this is no power. We make some competition. Left side, right side, and left side. A and B? Okay, A and B. First we start with B. Nest? Yes. Nest? Yes. Nest? Yes. Can you see that? Okay, together. Nest? Yes. That's great. Thank you very much. Yeah, now we can learn something. Who knows the difference between REST and GraphQL? The teacher is here. Yeah? Yeah? You are really, really close, yeah? What size? L? What's your t-shirt size? L or XL? That's for you. Thank you so much. Okay, so yes, fetching data using a REST, we have a few endpoints. So, for example, if you want to fetch a user, the specific user, we use this route user/ID, for example. If we want to, have some post of this user, we use, for example, this user ID/post. Or if we want, this is just example, if you want, for example, different data like the follower of this user, we can use this user ID/ID/followers. In the GraphQL case, we have only one endpoint, and we call the SQL server. We tell in the background what we need, and the SQL server gives us exactly what we need. Yes, in this JSON. This is the main difference between these two technologies, and we can use both using Nest.js. We can create the REST or the REST API or the GraphQL server. So, as I said, Nest enforces us to create clean and clear structure because we have to use some modules. Okay? Who knows what is module? Yeah?
Kind of encapsulated code which is related to each other.
Perfect. Yeah, it's like the M for you, like Wikipedia. like Wikipedia. Congratulations. Thank you so much. Yes, exactly. So in the background, Nest use Express. How many of you knows what is Express? Please. One more time, sorry. Yeah, but it is option. But what is Express? Yes. Yeah, it's a very minimalistic framework for creating also you can use Express to create a REST API or GraphQL server. But Nest is create on top of Express. Nest use Express and give us a lot of modularity. And Nest is heavily inspired by Angular. How many of you heard about Angular? Okay. How many of you use Angular? Okay, a few people. So in a Nest, like in Angular, we have controllers, providers, modules, pipes, and quite the same folder structure. So if you are an Angular developer, it's very easy to switch and create a backend app for your Angular app. But Nest is platform agnostic, so you can use Nest with React, with Vue, wherever. Okay, some pros. It's a TypeScript-based framework. So for some of you, it's pros. For some of you, it's maybe cons. It's super fast. And of course, it's Node.js ecosystem. Easy to understand documentation. I will talk about that a little bit later. And yeah, that's for now. I think it's enough for now. What about the disadvantages? So for me, I work with some big projects in banks, for example, or in other financial institutions. And some coins for me is this is a relatively young project. It's small team behind this project. Then they don't have any big company behind them. So if we talk about large projects, it can generate some concerns. Yeah, but they did great job, by the way. So we talk about advantages again. So Nest is, as I said, great for Angular developers because it's a very familiarity. Nest provide us a structure. We've helped large teams to big, complex backend apps. More than we're just using the minimalistic Express framework. In many ways, Nest.js is also similar to Spring or to .NET. So if you are a .NET developer, it's very easy to switch the project with Nest. Yeah. And as I said, it supports REST, GraphQL, WebSockets. So they have a lot of built-in tried-part libraries, like, for example, Passport or TypeORM. I will show you later how the TypeORM work. And the popularity, it's growing rapidly from week to week. So, as I said, that means they did great job. Okay, and who is using Nest? As you can see here, we have a big names like Roche or Capgemini. So it's not no-name projects or no-name companies use it, or some just hobby people. It's really, really serious. So if we see this, yeah, if we think about use it or not, it's a good thing to good point to think about that. Let's prepare our work environment. So we need Node.js. How many of you heard about Node? Few people, okay. You have some energy or not? I can hear you. Are you alive? Yes. Are you alive? Yes. No. Are you alive? Yes. Yeah, that's great. That's great. I know it's morning. I'm also, in the same mood like you, but we are here to have fun and learn in the same time something. Back to the future, the Nest.js, sorry. So to start, we just have to install the Nest.js CLI, like npm i-g nest/CLI. To create new project, we use this command nest new and the project name. And to start this project, we just use npm run start. And voila, your first backend application is ready to use. Yeah? Easy or easy? It is easy or easy? Easy? Okay, it's a t-shirt for you. Congratulations. Yeah, it was a hard question. We can monitor any changes during the development. So we can use the node mon with this npm run start def command. And controllers. If you use Angular, you know that the controllers are very important. And the same in Nest.js, but they have a little bit different behaviors. So controllers are responsible for handling incoming request and returning response to the client. It's easy or easy? Okay, we need to work on that. We can also use, of course, the Nest CLI to generate our controllers. We can use CLI to generate every element I show you on. You can show it on the slide, few slides before. Just using Nest generate controller and the name of the controller, and this is how the basic controller look like. And this is, of course, just a class with a decorator. This decorator look like this. It is just a controller. Okay? So if we talk about controllers, we talk about routing because they are responsible for the routing. Yeah? So if the decorator have no arguments, this controller just call the default function. So in this case, if you go to this link localhost 300, you see this default text. This is this default text because we have no arguments in the controller decorator and no arguments in this get function. And if we have argument in the controller, like here, products, we have to use this link to run this function. Okay, so we have to use this link localhost 300 products to see this, to run this function. Yeah. Okay. In this case, you see in this is a controller with few examples. So first, if we have this controller with this argument products, we have to always use localhost / product in every case to run this function. And if we have, for example, this argument toys in this get, we run localhost products toys to run this function. In this case, localhost product movies. And in this case, just localhost products, and this is the default function. It's easy or easy? It's easy. I have one more t-shirt and 2 tickets for the conference. So give me some energy. The wildcards, of course, we can use patterns in our arguments. So the pattern-based routes are supported as well. For instance, in this case, the asterisk used as a wildcard and will match with any combination of the characters here. Yeah? And if you enter the wrong address in the browser, you will receive an error. And we can, of course, personalize all these errors. So it's really, really good. Status code. The response status code is always 200 by default, except post, which are the 201. But if we want, we can easily change this behavior by adding this HTTP code decorator to the handler level. Yeah, here. We can use, of course, redirection using also a decorator redirect, like here. And route parameters, but we know it. Yeah, we use some parameters, and with, for example, this ID 1 to 3, you run this function with this parameter. Yeah, we have here some parameter, and we can get this parameter from the URL. Nest route handlers are able to run RxJS observable streams. And Nest will automatically subscribe to the source and take the last emitted value. Once the stream is complete, of course. Yeah. Content type. This is the one of the cool thing also here, because Nest automatically adjusts the content type to our header. So, for example, in this case, we return a list of toys is a string. This is the get toys, and get prod we return JSON. So, if you see the result. The first case, you can see this is the content type text HTML. And the second case, automatically is JSON. And if we want, we can overwrite these headers also using this decorator header. Services. Of course, all the logic we can separate, and we use services for it. So controllers are only for routing, and any other logic we just put to the services. And all these services are just a JavaScript class with a special injectable decorator on the top. Yeah, you can see it here. And we can, of course, use the CLI to create service using the nest generate service user. Modules, this is the reason why many of us use Nest.js, because of this modularity, of this structure. This is the app module. We can have as much as modules in our application as we want. And this is the main module, the entry point of the application, which uses the core function nest factory, yes, to create nest application instance. Okay, now I will show you just a short demo, fully function application in a nest. So you can have some background how easy is to create app fully functional REST API using Nest. Okay, can you see that? Now it's better a little bit. Can you see the code or not? Now? Okay, so this is a very simple project, and this is the main TS. Is on the slide. We import the nest factory function, and here is our 300 port. We listen, this application listen. So when I start this up using this npm run start dev here, okay, you can see here. In a second we go through in this folder structure. Yeah, now it's running. I use Postman to get this request. So, for example, we start first with just this localhost 300. How many of you use Postman? Know what is Postman? Yeah, that's perfect. So this request localhost 300, and we have this default text HTML in the Postman, and this is because we have this app controller with this get hello function, and this service with this function get hello, we return as this default text. Yeah. So this is the app controller, the default app controller. But I create this catalog here, contacts, and I will show you how it works. So app service, app module. App module is the main application, main app module. And in this app module, we use this type ORM module, and we create SQLite database in the background. And we use this SQLite, but you can use any other database you want to play with this with Nest. If I create it, I can of course find this database using some DB browser for SQLite, and where is the database? This is the database. Open table. Okay, I can see what is in this table. Yeah, some funny data. Okay, so let's go to the contacts. We have here the contacts model. This is the model, the Lego block for my contacts. Yeah, and in this model, this model of course is imported to our app model and then to main TS model. Yeah, but in this model, in this context model, we have contact service. This is my contact service here, okay, with a few async function where we have find all, so we return all the record from the database, get by ID, create, update, and delete. Yeah, so every method we want to use in a REST API. We have a controller for routing. So we have a contacts, get, this is the default function. So if we use just localhost 3000 contacts, we run this function. If we use some ID, we run this function. To create, we run this. Update, we use this. And delete, we use this. And that's it. This is the full project. How it works now. If I go to the Postman. Sorry? You can do it in some middleware, like you can do it in service or in DTO. Here I didn't use DTO, but usually you should use DTO to make some validation on the server. Yeah, this is a very simple example without the DTO, but in your case, the best way is to using DTO. This is also just a class, but in this DTO we create all this functionality you want to validate on the server. One more thing I will show you. This is the entity. This is the entity I create. Based on this entity, Nest create the database. Yeah. So this is the entity. Very simple. This is ID. First name, last name, email, phone, city, and country. And you can see it here, ID, first name, last name, email, phone, and city and country. Yeah. So it creates this database automatically. Yeah. This type ORM. Yeah. You understand it? It's okay. Yeah. And okay, so back to the controllers. We have this few function here, and this is our main routing. So the controllers call services. In your case, if you want to validate, it's good to create controllers. Then controllers call the DTO, and DTO then call the services. Yeah. But of course you can do some validation in your service, yeah, if you want, if it is very simple. And okay, so back to the Postman. This is the 300/contacts, and we have all this data here. If you want to create something, if I do something like this, I just create the next, because in my body I have this. I can create, of course, something like this with this the 14 ID. Okay, and you can see I created. If I go here and change it to 14, 14, send, I get this specific 14 ID here. To update, of course, I can update something if, for example, with this 14 ID, I can write it wherever I want. And I can update, and it works. And of course, I can delete. Very simple way is deleted. And yeah, this is the last one. So as you can see, very simple app with a few files, few lines of code, and we have a fully function REST API. It's cool or cool? S size for a woman. Cool or cool? It's cool. You said cool or not? That's for you. Okay, meine lieben Damen und Herren, I have also 2 tickets to the conference. Who wants the ticket? And you. This is JS and Angular.
Perfect.
JS or Angular?
Oh, Angular.
Angular. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And you, yeah? For you is JS.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Okay, meine lieben Damen und Herren, thank you so much one more time. I hope you learn a little bit about Nest.js, and if you wake up tomorrow, the first you come in your mind would be Nest.js, okay? Thank you so much.